Number 5 is probably one of my favorites. And this is something that I had to really fight with as a military cadet, right? I started as a military cadet for the Army, got tested with over 150 IQ, and they switched me. I wound up going to the Air Force. And as a cadet, at one point, I had 3,200 people under my command, right? And what they teach you there is it's all about orders and giving orders, right? What I learned in life is that it's a lot better to ask a question instead of giving orders. Nobody likes to be ordered around. Nobody likes to take orders. People like answering questions.
That's good.
So when you could say, don't do this, right? Or you could ask, do you think that would work? See, when you ask a person a question, what you've done is you allow them to think for themselves and find answers to issues without pointing it out to them and making them feel like, I'm an idiot. And that's hard because sometimes if you're, if you're in a second, you're, how do I put this? It's very easy to tell a person to stop doing this or stop doing that or don't do this. And when you do that to people, it picks at them and it shuts them down. It brings them down to a box. So I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Especially children, right? Especially children, because their whole life, you say, don't do this. Don't touch that. Don't go here. Don't go there. I'm like, man, well, what can I do? I can't do anything. They're always telling me I can't do stuff. Every time I talk to my parent, it's a negative interaction. And you wonder why your kids don't talk to you. You wonder why you have to get a call from a school, because your kid harmed themselves. They thought they didn't have anyone they could talk to. Because the moment they open their mouths to you, you're telling them what they can't do. When you ask them questions, great concepts. And being direct works too. That's very true. I think there's a way to be direct in your questioning.
It's good.
There's a way to ask a question and allow the person then, because again, when we ask a question, we allow them to think for themselves. Yeah, it is hard with kids, and you're right. And that's why you have to do it with kid gloves, and you have to do it in a way that, for example, I'll give you an example. I have a daughter, right? And when she was tiny, when she would do something that I knew that's not a good idea, I could run over and tell her no, right? Or I could say, hey, you know what? Perfect example. I was talking to Rad about this the other day. Some people are what I call touch the stove people. Okay? I'm sure some of you can relate. Some people are touch the stove.
I'm a touch the stove. How many people are a touch the stove kind of person? Let me be the first one to admit that I'm a touch the stove kind of person. Who's a touch the stove kind of person in here? Put me in the chat. I need to know that I'm not alone. John, you're my favorite Boricua, bro. I love you, brother. Thank you. I'm a touch the stove kind of guy. 100%. I got some people with me. Okay, Dana's with me.
I'm sure you got people with you.
Dana's with me. Oh, Crystal's not with me. Come on, Crystal. Join the Touch the Stove Club, team. Crystal.
For those of you who don't know what that means, I'll explain it to you. So, touch the stove means it's like, look, when you have a child, you're like, hey, you see them in the kitchen, and I observed, like I would watch Zoe, and she'd be walking around. I'm like, what she's about to do? I know that's hot because we're in there baking, and the oven's at like 400 degrees. And I see her in the kitchen. I see her look over at it, and then she goes do something else. And she look over at it again, and then she want to do something else. And I watch. I go, I bet you she about to take her butt over there and touch that stove. Now, I don't say that out loud. I just watch, and I go, okay. So then she'll play over by the refrigerator. And then she'll go and take her coloring book and go play over by the table, closer to the stove. And then I see her moving closer and closer. And if I say, hey, I said, man, you know what? That stove is real hot over there. You feel all that heat coming from there? We're cooking, those cookies are almost done. They're going to be done in a couple of minutes. And I'll even turn the light on so she can see them. I'm like, hey, we're going to look at them from here. We're not going to go over there and touch it because that's really hot and it'll burn us if we do.
Right.
But we can see it from here. We can smell it from here. And the minute they're going to be done, and when they are, I'm going to take them out and we're going to eat them. They're going to be so yummy and delicious, but we're going to make sure we don't hurt ourselves. We stay back over here so it doesn't hurt. Make sense? And
Makes
she would
sense.
go, yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, okay. Some people are touch the stove people. I can say that. It can make all the sense in the world. And guess what? As soon as I turn around, they're going over there to touch that stove.
I'm touching the damn stove, man. Yeah, that's me, man.
That is a touch the stove kind of person. So, some people just, hey, I learned vicariously, right? Which helps me collapse time frames. So if I see one person go and burn their hand, I'm good. I don't have to go over there and do that. So, that's not for me. I'm like, no, that's all right. I've learned my lesson.
I got to make sure they're not lying to me. They might say it's hot. I might think it's cold, man. I don't trust you.
I know, but that's when you send somebody else to do it. As my man professor,
that's true.
As Magneto said, we send the pawns in first. Pawns make the first move. We observe what happens, and then we decide what we want to do next based on what happens to them. So, but it's not going to be me. So yeah, ask questions instead of giving orders. You can do that. You allow them to think for themselves and come up with solutions. And you'd be shocked. Sometimes the solution they come up with might be better than the one that you had in mind for them. It's amazing, but it does happen that way sometimes. And sometimes they still don't get it.
That's kind of some NLP stuff, is planting the idea in their head.
Absolutely.
Low key, that's some NLP type of stuff, bro. Where you're letting them lead them to the that's some Tony Robbins type of stuff, guys. That's pretty deep stuff.
So
Jedi stuff, bro. Jedi stuff. Where's your Yoda at, man? Is your Yoda behind you, man?
There
Yoda is. See that Jedi shit. That's what he's working on. The Jedi stuff, guys.
So